The move back honestly had nothing to do with what my future might look like with the Giants, which I think for us makes it all the more special because it truly was a move back because we enjoy this area and we enjoy the friends that we've made in this area. And I think just over the last few weeks, months, we've been kind of talking through some different scenarios, and it's where we landed.
Now, back to Steiny and Guru on 95.7 The Game.
Boy, did Posey shut Willard's theory down.
Will.
That was the game within a game this morning.
Look at Willie.
Boy, I got served.
No, what happened?
No,
that's not you getting served. What happened was
no,
Shout
I'm
out
kidding.
to
I
us.
thought that was, yeah, that was
Cannon.
good. That was a
you
great
threw
answer.
up. It was like skeet shooting, and Buster said pull, and then you set up your question, and Buster said chka chka, and he picked it out of the sky. But at least your skeet was in the air for a little bit. It was a good question, and he answered it the way he answered it.
I think Steiny was kidding. Could we not present it this way? There was absolutely nothing wrong with that exchange at all. What are we talking about?
There's the story before the story.
Okay, hold on a
and
minute.
you got yours coming, too, at some point.
Bring it. You won't.
I'm listening to Willard yesterday, and I heard him say, you know what? Looking back, we should have saw this coming when he moved out here.
I did say that.
Yeah.
And then,
That was a setup for today's question.
Exactly.
And then, and by the way, just because he said it doesn't mean it's true.
Calling him a liar?
Well, no. I'm saying that he is now a big face at a big press conference, and he'll tell us what he wants to tell us.
Yeah.
Similar to if we had said, hey, is Bryce Eldridge starting at first base next April? What do you think he's going to say?
That's more of a question for Bob.
Baseball minor league player of the year.
Yeah, like,
Baseball
I mean,
America.
What Mark is calling him right now is Bluster Posey.
That's a one. Dan's not your best work. Yeah.
I thought it was great.
He
I
came
built
in
up to
earlier.
it.
The guys were talking about the buzz in the room, and I said Buzz Posey, and you gave me a one.
Now that
I think that's better than Bluster Posey.
But Willard, I'm down on you.
It's Bluster
You're
Posey.
down on me.
Yeah.
What'd I do?
You took a shot at us at Chase yesterday.
Before
that.
No, but it wasn't at you. It was at the situation.
I drove out the lot like I had a good day. Shout out Ice Cube.
No,
Then I thought about, hey, breaking news, Farhan's fired. What better way than Steiny and Guru is Chase?
I was
I didn't like it, dude.
I was making fun of the situation
And that's what
that
I
you
told
ended
Steiny.
up in.
You're right.
I'm like, this is what happens in life.
I said he was making fun of, we're here for hoop.
This is what happens in life. 3 weeks ago, you sat down and someone went, hey, Warriors Media Day. And all of us are like, dude, who doesn't want to be at that? And then you arrive. Farhan's been fired. The Niners have won a football game for the first time in 3 weeks. Right? And you're sitting there with Buddy Heels going
I told you, Steiny, he was making fun of the moment.
The moment.
And you never know.
It's not your fault.
I want to take you guys back to, might have been 2014, could have been 2013. And our old boss,
I still
Jason
stay in
Barrett,
touch. Yeah.
remember he had that contest where he asked listeners to book a guest for us, and whoever had the best guest, whatever listener,
I was on the weekend.
you might have been at nights
right, exactly.
with my favorite, whoever booked the best guest would get a prize. And so I'm doing Rise Guys with Whitey and Crides, and we're live from the Olympic Club, and it is a Thursday or a Friday, I can't remember which one. We did 2 shows from there, and on the line is David Price. And we're about to go to David Price, and a listener had booked David Price for us.
Yeah.
And this listener was going to win. All of a sudden, the word comes in. Matt Cain is on hold, fresh off his perfect game. Ooh. This was June 14th, and it must have been 2013, because I was fired by 14. So 2013, we're live at the Olympic Club. We're not doing a whole thing on golf. We're doing, Matt Cain. Well, Matt Cain, perfect game. But David Price is coming on. So we're going to ask David about Matt. And then Matt calls in. So it's like, tell David, sorry.
Hold my
sorry,
beer.
David Price. We're going to Matt Cain. So in this business, you never know where the pivot's going to come from.
Speaking of which, Matt Cain in 40 minutes.
I must have.
That's partly why I told the story.
Clearly, this was when I was fired because I just would have gotten Steph.
You didn't have
Game
that,
over.
You didn't have that.
It's out of control
You didn't
right
have that
now.
gravitas in 13. But you know what? I think that actually You got fired before me, and then you got rehired back before me.
That's true.
Because when I got when I got rehired back, you were there in the conference room to greet me, and I remember that in February of 2015.
Can I tell you a line that Dibley had yesterday that I swear to God I was laughing out loud in my car?
Because you got to call him out.
LOL? I did.
No, he will.
I did. He goes, talking about Posey, and, hey, who do you think will hire? And Dibs goes, well, I got to tell you, I'm really interested to see what's going to happen to Pete Patella.
Yeah. I mean, funny at the time, not so funny
today.
now.
Yeah, reassigned.
Right. You know what that means.
He's not been fired.
Correct.
No,
but
they're finding stuff for him to do.
He's going to clean the bathroom. I was there today. It needs some work.
I'm trying to remember what show it was where somebody got reassigned and their new office was in the basement. And
that was
like,
Office Space.
Yeah, thank you.
Movie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, you're reassigned. Now you're in a windowless basement, Pete, and you get to go ahead and look at video of, let's look at the history of the split finger fastball.
Let that be real. If they wanted to fire him, they'd just fire him.
Right.
They're gonna have him do something. They must value him on some level, or they would just let him go.
Yeah.
Right?
True, but
it's not like he's like, oh, God, you can't. We're buried underneath the Pete Patella contract.
Right.
Like, just let him go if you don't want him.
And if the demotion is so ignominious or embarrassing, he can always leave.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to take whatever demotion he's getting.
I mean, he just got here. Yeah. So, whatever. Yeah.
I spent 4 hours trying to convince him at the top of the to-do list for Buster, Operation Snail.
See, I don't agree with that.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Hold on. And that's not my opinion. That's his opinion, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Based on, did you hear?
Yeah. We listened.
Granny, do you have, let's let the listeners hear exactly how Buster answered Susan Slusser's question toward the end about Blake Snell.
I mean, Blake's one of the, premier starting pitchers in the big leagues, has been for a while. And the run he went on the last 12 or 14 starts, I think I saw a quote from Bob. It was really like nothing you'd ever seen. So he's obviously somebody that's going to be a priority for us to take a hard look at and, make a decision as a group.
So I can only tell you what I did when he said that. I leaned forward in my chair.
You were in the room.
And then I leaned back in my chair.
Ooh,
because as soon as he said he's obviously someone who's a priority for us, I leaned forward in my chair. And then after a quick pause, he goes, to take a look at and then make a decision as a group.
Okay.
And that means to me he's gone.
All right. Shout out Twitter. Follow me here.
Okay.
If he did somehow retain the services and bring Snell back, wouldn't this thing get off to a bang?
Here's what I'll agree with you.
You know what I mean?
I'll agree with you on the concept.
That's a foul.
I'll agree with you on the concept, not the player. I'll agree with you that Buster, it would be very good for him to take a big swing, but somebody has already brought Blake Snell in on free agency. That was Farhan. I would do something that Farhan hasn't done, which is grab some of the young players in your farm system, send them out of here, and get a shortstop. Like that's like right now, Doval and Matos for Bo Bichette.
Okay. All right. Wow.
I would do that like as quickly as it is available to me.
All right.
I would do that.
Because I'm calling Eldridge Jasky's favorite guy a phenom. He got to AAA. I know it was in September. Is there a chance in this new baseball that he could be on the big club in some form or fashion?
Dave Fleming told us yesterday, like an absolute yes, that he will make his major league debut next year.
If I set the over-under at June 1st.
I'll take the under.
Exactly.
Man, that's exciting in itself.
No need to go get Soto.
He ain't leaving New York.
Not Soto, but it
Pete
does.
Alonso,
It does eliminate.
He got a playoff game.
It eliminates Pete Alonso unless you want to sell Pete. Then on the second half of his career, he could just come be a DH. You could do that.
And you need one of those. And the thing about Blake Snell that hit me from Buster today is he talked a lot about Matt Chapman and what Matt Chapman did, which is show up every day and play every day. Yeah. And Blake Snell, when he got healthy, he showed up every day and he was dominant.
Incredible.
And then he had one more start to make. And he said,
Bobby Evans said it was a nothing burger because they're
did not use that term.
But I'm telling you.
What did Bobby say?
He said, that's something that...
And I love Bobby. We talked to him at Michael Urban's funeral.
Yeah.
He basically said, when guys going into free agency...
It's okay.
It's okay.
Like, they still want to keep him here, so that was allowed.
I get it, but if you're Buster, and I think that the one thing Buster wants is some everyday players. Like Matt Chapman played, 150?
Incredible, man.
152?
I don't know what
it was
the
a
number
big
was. Up
number.
there.
He had a great
It was
year,
up
man.
there. And I think that Buster wants those types of guys who are going to show up every day. Patrick Bailey, even though he didn't have a hit for about 5 weeks, he showed up every day and went out there and played. And so for me, that's one of the messages I took from today.
Yeah, I think the best part of today, and I would say there was a lot more good than, and I wouldn't use the word bad at all of it, but the best part of today is that Buster Posey talked about how they're in the business of making memories.
Oh,
I thought that was his.
That hit me.
That was his best quote.
Where?
We're in the business of making memories so
you.
that fans can go out there. And
He
then
said that.
he drew a line directly to, obviously he didn't use himself, but he's one of these people. Lincecum and Mad Bum and Matt Cain, 230. And before him, Will Clark and Barry Bonds and you can go on
good
and on.
times.
Like, he basically said, we need a lot better players.
And it's fact.
We need a lot better players. And that doesn't mean you have to win free agency or spend the most money or whatever. Like, in fact, almost all of those guys he mentioned were homegrown players. So I don't know necessarily where they're coming from, but he needs to be very aggressive very quickly in getting players on the roster who people want to see, obviously.
You know, like, here's the way I looked at it. It's very vague, but when the Giants were winning in 10, 12, and 14, I feel like there were certain players and you could say, you know what, they're Giants. Like, they fit the profile. And I think that's kind of what they want to get back to. Like, let's get Giant players here who are going to be here for a while. That's kind of why I don't see Snell being really a fit. I don't know. I think Posey wants guys who are going to be invested here, who are going to be here for a while. I'm not saying Snell wouldn't be.
But it sounds like it, though, Stein.
Does Blake Snell feel like a Giant to you?
But he has no IU on video or anything in the paper of not being happy here.
No, that's not true. He had that issue with the athletic staff early when he thought they were pushing him and he wasn't quite ready. And I don't know. He just doesn't feel like Buster Posey's kind of guy.
He's a little bit of a quirky guy.
I like him.
Yeah, he's a great pitcher. He's a little bit of a quirky guy. And again, if you're Buster and you're thinking about like allocation of resources, I don't know that that's necessarily the place to do it. Like, there are a lot of good free agent pitchers available. Do you need to go to the top of the market when you already are looking at a Logan Webb and a Robbie Ray and you like Hayden Birdsong and I don't know about Kyle Harrison, but like that's not probably where I want to break off my biggest contract. I would much
Everyday
rather
player.
Yeah. They need, as they said it, they need cleaner, professional baseball
So
players.
you think the days of Yaz, and I'm just bringing him up because he showed the pulse late, Lamont Wade Jr., you think those are coming to an end?
They could be bench guys, but I think you need a real everyday first baseman and you need a real everyday right fielder.
Yeah.
If Yaz is your fourth outfielder and Lamont Wade Jr. is your DH / backup first baseman, that's okay to me. But you need a shortstop, somebody you can rely on for 145 of those. And, you know, Brandon Crawford was a guy who didn't hit a ton all the time, but you put him out there and you knew that he was going to catch everything from second to deep short, and he was going to be the dude. And I think Buster said today the phrase pitching and defense more than once, and that's how they won. And so I do think that he's going to build this thing in that same way.
You think they regret the Correa non-signing or seeing the medicals? Because he had batted 314 homers.
But that was 13 years until he was 41. Like, I don't
he was
know.
hurt too.
Yeah, and he wasn't that good last year. I don't know that that's, on the Mount Rushmore of things that went wrong with the Giants in the Farhan era. I do like the players you just brought up. We were just talking about this in the other room, and this is unfortunate for these guys. It's not their fault, but the fan base is so angry with Farhan Zaidi that I think that there are 3 players in the system right now who sort of just have Farhan residue.
Name them, man.
Farhan residue.
Luciano, clearly.
Yep.
Let me do this, Mark, and then we'll try to guess.
Go ahead.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. I would say Luciano, even though he didn't draft him.
That's not one of the people I'm thinking.
All right.
That's not one of the people I'm thinking.
These are the guys that are out there daily.
Yaz.
Absolutely.
Because I saw yesterday or 2 days ago, he said, I have a soft spot for Yaz.
Well, here's the thing about Mike Yastrzemski and the other two, which I'll name in a minute, which is they are quintessential Farhan Zaidi players because, and this is, again, it's not their fault, but what this organization was defined by for 6 years is, hey, look at the guy that I found that's actually a little bit better than he was supposed to be. Doesn't mean he's a great player.
Wow.
But hey, look what I found in the bargain bin that actually should be on the main aisle.
Wow.
And fans are done with that.
Conforto?
It's not Conforto. He's gone anyway.
Matos.
No, it's Yaz.
Let him
Wisely.
Let him go.
No, I want to guess.
No,
They're
these are-
so bad
You've
guesses.
missed 5 times.
Exactly.
Take a play
You've
off.
had 3 strikes.
Yeah.
All right.
You're out.
Man.
It's Yaz, Wade, and Tyro Estrada.
There we go.
Because all 3 were acquired in the exact same way, which is look at this player that I got for nothing.
That's real.
Who can actually kind of play.
But
he can kind of play.
I get it.
But it's not what you really want out of first base or right field.
No doubt.
Yeah, he's a really good defensive player and is solid enough to be on your team. Wade, like you didn't hit for any power, and I don't know what the hell happened to your leg, but it never got better. And
After 2 weeks, you're into All-Star
And you're not
game.
very good defensively over at first, by the way. But we found you for Sean Anderson, so that's cool. Tyro Estrada, do y'all remember this? Cash considerations.
Yep.
That's a cash considerations deal. That's a win, but is it? Yeah. Because if he's hitting 220,
he fell off. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Can I tell you who I want out of here?
Is it me?
No, it's a giant player. I don't want to ever see him again, believe it or not.
I'm trying to guess.
Kurt Casale. I want him out.
Why the hell would you?
There's something
That sounds
about
so
him.
bad.
I just don't like him. I don't like
That's
him.
terrible.
He's like the Giants version of Stephen Vogt.
Exactly. No, he's not as good as Vogt was.
He doesn't hit as well as
Vogt can
Vogt
play
did.
on my
No, but he
team.
can receive, and
and
he's
that's
a beloved backup
But you hate
catcher.
him for no reason. That's what's wrong with us.
That's what he
man.
does about Kyle
He hates the guy
Juszczyk, too.
for no reason.
Best
Juszczyk's much better than Casale.
best interview on the team by far.
Casale?
Oh God, it's not close. He is a
Casale.
gem of a dude. Kurt Casale.
Speaking of
Exactly.
which,
Do it
Willard,
right,
let
Jim.
me down today.
Huh?
Let me got 2 questions in. You got one.
No, he didn't.
I counted 2.
He did?
Another mistake.
He got
Let me
one.
got 2.
He got
I
one.
had 2
I think
from
he got
London.
one.
Well,
I had 2 on the score.
whatever, he can win. That's fine.
And the lady was like, "We'll go 2." I'm like, "Willard,
Yeah, no.
number 2."
the top 3 it went Slusser, McCauley, Willard. And Slusser and McCauley each doubled up, which is fine.
I got it wrong. Will, I heard
Thank
love
you.
it twice. I go, look at
Maybe.
Sammy.
Maybe.
Willard on the podium, which was an upset. I set the over-under yesterday at 10.5.
Yeah.
Now,
And
when you say podium,
like the top 3.
You're saying I got a bronze medal because that was the third
He was
question.
the third questioner.
I caught Chiz's eye early.
Sluss went
So give
1-2,
Mike.
and then Janie
Give him
McCauley
Mike.
from the AP went 1-2,
Stardy, I
and then
thought I had
and I
him.
loved it. I'm in the car coming back from dropping off the baby at the park. Let's go to Mark on the right side.
Where do you get off jumping in before Baggerly and
I was
Pavlovich?
sitting next to Bags, and he didn't want it yet.
No,
he didn't ask for
he didn't
it.
want that smoke.
He didn't ask for it. Our phones were sitting on the chair in between us together, and he
The great ones do assess first.
That's right. He wanted to. He wanted to lay back. He wanted to sit back. He said, "You go and take the mic, buddy."
Yeah.
He goes, "I know I'm here every day. You take the mic." It's okay.
Kawakami in the weeds as well.
Kawakami, I think, was 4.
Yeah.
He was pretty quick.
Might have been. And Johnny Shea with bombshell
Well, he
late.
That
waited.
was
He
friction.
waited, and then he
Yes, sir.
showed up with a big sack of sandbags.
He did.
Like
He had receipts,
came up a
though.
little combative. It was a little tiny bit combative.
He's
like,
friction.
now that you have a new regime, are you guys going to be a little bit more transparent?
Hold on, the
Are you
answer
going to lie
started.
to us less
Dude,
now?
And he
Loved
said,
it.
let me finish. he finished his thought.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, they start answering, and he jumped in like, I got to finish this.
I actually thought that's an interesting concept that Brian Johnson
transparency.
wants. No, he does not want
Yeah.
contracts of coaches and GMs.
Oh, Greg.
To be,
You're talking Greg.
I'm
Right.
sorry. Yeah.
Brian Johnson
Brian's
hit a wonderful home run for the Giants. Yes.
The stick.
And I was thinking about that because that to me is interesting. Like he thinks that's unnecessary. Like he doesn't want that out
it's
there.
a distraction.
What if I give a point to both sides on this one? If Greg wants that to be private, that is totally allowed for it to be private.
But why?
But Shea is saying, if you want to be private, be private. You told us something that actually wasn't true.
Right.
Oh, boy.
Right? You said, and it wasn't Greg, it was Farhan. You said that it was a 3-year deal. And it's not a 3-year deal.
He came with
so
it.
I think his point was, like, you could either not say it, but if you're going to say it, how about if it's true?
And then the follow-up was, what about Bob's extension? And Greg started to jump in, and John said, I'm actually asking Buster. Because Greg said, that's a Buster question.
Yeah, Greg gave it to Buster.
And no, Greg said, that's a Buster question.
Yeah.
And John said, that's who I was
That's
asking.
who I'm talking
John
to.
wasn't playing this
like
game.
it, John. And then Buster said a whole lot of stuff without saying anything at all,
doubt.
which is
He
that
mastered
Bob
that.
does not have an extension.
No, but he will, I would bet, within a week or two.
Oh,
I think so.
I'll take the over and bet you anything you want.
Do you think that he'll get an extension before the start of the year? Or will he enter as a lame duck? I'm not going to make a
And
bet.
he said that.
And John used that phrase twice. I'm not going to make a bet on timeline,
Right.
but I would bet you that he gets extended before the year starts.
I love that Shea used
I'll
lame
take that
duck.
bet.
twice.
I'll take that bet.
How about no extension? We'll go ahead and pick up that option on the 3rd year.
That's fine. That's
what I
splitting the
bet.
baby, and I'll allow that.
And then we're going to see how the year goes, and if it's going well, and you're in first or second place to the All-Star break, now we're going to add some years on.
That's a fair way to
That's
put it.
what I would bet.
And Buster with a 3-year deal. How soon until his feet are held to the fire?
Well, all I know is Farhan won 107 in his year 3.
Steiny asked me how long I was giving Buster. I said 3 years.
Dude, Farhan.
And this new baseball, 3 years.
I did this yesterday. I mean, his record.
Yeah.
You can play the record game all you want. How many years was he here? 6.
6.
Oh,
And he,
I
made
count
one
the
playoff.
wins.
So yeah, it's wins.
Those are tiddly
schmins.
wins. Give us the postseason. 1 for 6.
0
To
series
hell
wins.
with the regular season numbers.
You know what? Mouth.
Yeah.
Judge Posey the same way.
I will.
When they go 75 and 87 next year,
I'll take the over.
just know that's worse than any Farhan year.
Yeah,
that's
but-
all I'm saying.
Well, what was
Anytime
Mark
you-
Jackson's record with the Warriors? Do you know that?
Hand
It's
down,
probably-
man down.
Better than Farhan. And he won a postseason series.
That and turn the culture around.
You ought to be ashamed.
You should be
No,
ashamed.
you should be ashamed.
No, because you're cherry picking.
Please.
And you're supposed to be coming at me.
Let me tell you something else.
Come at me, dog.
I did. I was telling you I
Oh, yeah,
laughed
he
at the
did.
Pete
That was
Patel.
it.
Oh, that's cool. I liked it. Never mind.
Let me tell you,
You're a funny
defend
guy.
me.
Laugh.
and I got to get out of here, but feel free to pick up on this conversation.
You actually don't.
It's
And
209.
You know, let me tell you, I have no proof of this, but Bob Melvin, he didn't do Farhan any favors from inside that building.
What does that mean?
He gave him the job.
What does that mean?
That means
What does it mean?
it means I think there was some
He threw him under the bus.
some stuff behind the scenes.
Do you think that Bob
The
was
conversation
alone?
with Bags Willard when he was saying all of this stuff all come from you, and he was like,
But is that throwing Farhan under the bus, or is that an admission that there was stuff there?
Yeah, there was stuff there.
Yes, agreed.
And I guess I'm just not fast to jump on Melvin's side all the time. That's all.
I don't know that side
He's
has
your
been
manager.
created. I'd also say that it felt like this in the room today. Today was a reboot for Bob Melvin. Last year now doesn't count.
"Yep."
Oh,
Now listen.
It all counts.
You can feel that way. I'm
It's just
telling
a
you.
fact.
It didn't cost him.
I'm telling you that's my read on the organization. Is that last year is now going to be wiped clean on Bob Melvin, and the same way that we sort of did that with Farhan. Because remember, year 1 was with Boach, and it was just like,
Steiny, you said, I'm not going to count those.
I'm going to retire. And then now we're going to start reviewing Farhan. I think the same thing's going to happen with Bob. They're like, okay, now you get a different president, different philosophy.
Right.
Now let's see how it looks, Bob.
same with Shanahan. Those first 2 years
I
after
think
Kelly and
year 1 is often
Sewell.
just kind of like year 1. Like, figure it out, get your feet.
So we had
sort of on the ground.
Draymond v. Osler yesterday, and today Shea versus Johnson.
Yeah, it was a
bit.
little quicker.
We'll have a little
It was
fun.
just a brushback. The
Bob
bench just didn't clear.
Bob Melvin, 3rd all time in managerial wins without a World Series championship.
Who's the first two?
Facts. Gene Mauch
Wow.
and Buck Showalter.
Oh, Buck.
Take that to the bar today.
Yeah.
Buck got to one, though.
Did he win it?
No.
Yeah, no rings. Bob Melvin, third all-time among ringless managers in regular season wins.
But it's
These are just
Melvin.
facts.
He's a local guy, so that's okay.
You
for
And I
doing
love
it.
Bob.
What?
I love Bob. We had him on a weekly
he's
back in the Rise Guys days.
When I threw
Honestly-
the fastball. Remember he told me I heard Andretti.
That's going to do it.
And Dibs goes,
Why?
Guru with no class.
I want to hear about his first pitch for the 19th time,
you
Mark.
talk
Then
to us
talk
about
to
you.
us.
Man, Willard.
What? I'm just saying.
I threw so many
You don't
first
have to-
pitches
yeah,
at Major League
important and he's
games, they
not.
had me
Don't
on a
start-
pitch count.
Don't start taking your
He
equipment
said I
apart.
did.
Three.
Have some class.
I threw
dude.
3.
I threw a heater.
It was like 73. No movement.
They
So
called, they
why
called
did you
me,
guys-
They called me BP in high school.
Yeah.
I could
Serve
throw a
'em
strike.
up.
I
Yeah.
could throw a strike.
Was it slow?
Didn't have a lot on it. But
So I
could
wouldn't
throw-
be afraid
I
of
could
you.
throw- oh, God.
That is
You'd
my
have ripped me
sign
in the
right
gap. You'd have ripped me in the gap big time.
Get out of here.
All right, are you leaving?
Yeah, I mean,
All right,
Lucas coming in here solidified that.
Why? What do you got
We're
against
going to the
Lucas?
Miami
He's like the
Countdown,
right
Luke.
fielder in Parenthood. He has no business being out
Are you
there.
going out there for game
I'm
day?
going. Going to beat Nash, Earl, Lucas.
okay.
You going to game
All right,
day?
yeah, and the boss goes, oh, you're not going to go. Him and Bonte.
Dude, let me just say this, and I'll do it quickly as Steiny's packing up.
No, he could. Yeah,
I
go
went to
ahead.
game day at Texas A&M, College Station, Tennessee in town. I got there at about 7. It was one of the more fun days I've ever
Now, wow.
had at college
That
game
solidifies
day.
it. I'm
It was
going.
incredible.
That-
Yeah, a
so
little
much
difference
fun.
between College Station and Berkeley.
What's the difference?
On
Steiny?
95.7, the game. Stick around tomorrow. I'll give you the answer.
There's a tease.
Jeez.